orchids, and this year is unusual in that it's an orchid year. I just walk down this public footpath just a little bit, Rat, my dog's with me, and we'll just go into the field, well, anywhere will do, and I'll show you what I mean. There's bees buzzing all around me at the moment, lots of yellow rattle down in the base of the wildflower, which shows it's really well established. And already I can see what I've come to look for, an amazing sight. Just look over the top at all the sandfoin, oxide daisy, all in full flower, all covered in bees. And I'm just going to go down on my hands and knees. No, I'm not a farmer saying his prayers, but I'm just going to part one of the plants here, because this year in this field there are probably 10,000 bee orchids. And bee orchids are really unusual. One year you'll have lots, and then a few years you have to wait till you see them in flower again. They kind of disappear. So I'm going to get down really close now so we can have a good look at a bee orchid. I'm going to lay down on the ground, camera's in front of me, and there we should be able to see why they're called bee orchids. Oh no, that's all I need. Rat, my dog, has come and almost sat. That's all you need. Never work with animals or children. And anyway, the bee orchid is aptly named because if you look at the bottom petal there, it looks exactly like there's a bee actually laying there on the base petal, and what it does is attract other bees to come and mate with it. But it doesn't need to do that, because the strange thing about bee orchids is that they're really self-pollinating. They don't need an insect to pollinate them. Nevertheless, bees come in and try and mate with this flower, and in so doing get the pollen on the top of their backs brushed on, and then hopefully they'll go off and pollinate another orchid. But generally, as I said, bee orchids are self-pollinating. And you can see in the distance there, all the way up this hill, there's another one immediately behind, and wherever I look there's bee orchids at various heights and stages, just enjoying the summer sunshine. And there in the distance also yellow rattle, also known as meadow maker. And at this time of the year, farmers used to know when their crops of hay were ready to cut. They'd walk through and kick the grass with their feet, rather like I do today if I get in a bad mood. And the rattle will actually do that. It's also called rattle box. The little seeds vibrate about in the pods. Here's one close up. That's yellow rattle. It's a parasite on the grass species that grow here in this field. So we're just going to change location in a minute or two and go and find one of the other orchid species. There's lots of orchids in the world. It's one of the most common flowering plants of all. And in the UK we've got quite a number of species, and at High Ash Farm we have about 7 species of orchid grown, and this is their main time of year. The earliest would be early purple orchid, which grows in with the bluebells at High Ash Farm, and they're fabulous, close to 18 to sometimes even 2 feet tall. These bee orchids are exactly a foot tall, that's 30 centimetres. Just stunning plants, double ovoid tuber right down at the base, and this particular plant might not flower again for 2 or 3 years, but we're enjoying it here this morning. What a fabulous sight. Beautiful pink and purple colour with that pseudo bee on the bottom petal.